jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Once again, you're tuned in to WCS. Big salute to the supporters of the channel, first and foremost. Everyone that's in the building, shout out to you. Big Blunts and Boxing on deck with it. Salute, brother. Y'all be sure to check out his channel, subscribe, and support him. You know what I'm saying? To everybody else that's in the building, hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Those of you that's coming up, you know, and checking out this live stream. It's still on boxing. You feel me? This live stream is still pertaining to boxing. But I just have some questions. You know what I'm saying? So hold up for a second. I just had to leave that up there for a little bit because people have been crying and whining about the situation. Yeah, I know you feel some type of way about me, you know, having that exclusive and telling the other side of the story because y'all favor who you favor. All right. We'll talk about that later. But peep this out. You notice I came out, right? And I said I spoke to Mike Stafford and everything, and he gave me an update. It's not like I just spoke to him. If you go back in my lives, I was supposed to interview him before I had a death in the family. That was weeks ago. I was supposed to have him on, and I was going to interview him. All right. I've dealt with Mike Stafford plenty of times. This ain't the first time. So when he told me this information, it wasn't the day before Adrien decided to pull out the fight. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't now. He had told me that before, and I just waited to talk about it on the week of. That's all that was. Anybody want to verify? Go ahead and be stupid and go out there and try to find whatever. You know what I'm saying? Those of you that's feeling sensitive and trying to, you know, nitpick and scrutinize everything I do. It's okay. It's all right. Well, let's talk about the reality of this. Adrien sent out a post, and it's grand news right now. And he said, "Man, I'm going through a lot at this moment in my life, but I ain't gonna give up. I set some more goals, and I ain't stopping until I finish what I started. But sorry to say this, but I'm not fighting August 20th." Only thing I attempted to do was talk about, you know, weight training was going on the week of, because I was really hoping, you know, Broner can pull this off and get back in the square and get it popping again with his fans, because he does have fans out there. But I don't think it's carried over. It still has, you know, the YTC community on his side, period. And I'm not sitting up here protesting that everybody should be supporting Adrien Broner. I'm just wondering, where's the black love? You know, they always talk about blackness all the time on this YTC, because you gotta understand one thing. We have a lot of channels on the YTC, and people they do hear what goes on the YTC about boxing or whatever it is. But this particular case with Adrien Broner, just people just look at what he's been doing outside the ring and what he wasn't able to accomplish inside the ring. That being active fighter, entertaining, giving us the 35, the 135 Broner, just giving us that activity with the punch output and the volume, performance. That's what people are mad at. People are mad that some of his performance, he still stuck to the script and he acted like he went in there and did what he's supposed to do. That's what they mad at. But what they're not mentioning is at least he stayed to the script. At least he gave you what you wanted. Every time I seen Broner in person, he never, like real talk, Adrien Broner never acts stuck up and arrogant and all that. If he wanted to fuck with you, he'll fuck with you. But one thing I can say about this guy is he's very smart when it comes to knowing who's been talking shit about him. People think he's just a big dummy out here, but he knows what's going on. He knows what social media is, and he live his life how he live his life, man. But I'm just curious to know why so many other boxers can talk about mental health and it's perceived. And I even had people on my channel talking about, mental health, it's a big deal. It's this, that, and the other. And then we even spoke about how when it comes to black people sometime with mental health, it's pretty much devalued. It gets a low appraisal to the seriousness of it. When Tyson Fury returned from his drug-induced, many moons and evenings doing what he was doing, he came back and mentioned mental health, right? He said mental health. And then the shit that went down with Ryan Garcia, doing what he was doing, pulling out of fights, he said mental health. Danny Garcia pretty much recently broke down and said he had a lot of things going outside the ring. And the man of the hour, Omar Figueroa, supposed to be Broner's opponent. He said he wants Adrien Broner to prove he has mental health. How are we supposed to do that, Omar? Because the last time I remember when you was on a Zoom call and I'm sitting up there listening to you, give mental health, describing what you've been going through. You didn't look well in your last fight. And you was telling people that you're in a better place now. You had to deal with your mental health. Well, people was sitting up here and they was feeling some type of way. You know what I'm saying? They was very soft-hearted listening to you. They kind of understand after mental health is beginning to surface a lot. It's buoyed so much that sometimes media don't even want to talk about it. Because if a fighter say they have mental health challenges, then who are we, the unqualified bystanders, to say, no, you don't have mental health? So I'm saying that to the channels that's criticizing Adrien Broner as if his mental health don't matter. Like y'all sitting up here acting like all we want to talk about is boxing. Fuck that. AB couldn't make the weight. This, that, and the other. You never know what's going on in somebody's mind, bro. Like this man can be going through a lot of shit we don't even know. People up here talking about, don't make excuses for him. He always been fucking up. And I'm saying to myself, damn, you fuck up too. You're just not in a celebrity spotlight like AB. How, when it comes down to it, how are we, provided a low value when it comes to the seriousness of mental health? But other fighters can come out here and talk about mental health and they want to be at the forefront. They want people to take it serious. They, any comment out there that is perceived to be insensitive, they say, they send a tweet out. So-and-so, you should take a closer look at mental health because it exists. It is powerful. It is relevant. And you shouldn't be, trying to discontinue it or jettison it as if it doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? They'll put out all these words, bro. But Omar Figueroa, who are you to challenge if somebody has mental health just because you was going through your own episode? That's selfish as shit, man. We have enough shit going on in boxing, but we have Omar Figueroa, who was up there on Zoom at the presser talking about how he was, going through his mental health crisis. But yet AB pulls out the fight. He has Sergey Lipinets as a backup, but yet you want AB to prove that he has mental health. You're not even qualified to ask somebody to prove they have mental health. You're not even considered a stable individual yourself, bro. You're not even considered stable. Prove that you're past your mental health. That's all we want from you, Figueroa. Prove that you are past your mental health. Because the last time we checked, the first interview, Adrien didn't mention anything about mental health, but you did. You spoke on it in depth. Back to the YTC, though. My people, it's not just about boxing. What has to happen? What has to happen for the mental health to be taken serious? Like, even myself, when people was correcting me in the chat, right? I even had to have a reflection of who I was talking about in Ryan Garcia and saying that, he talking about mental health, but he was out there with his girl. You know what I'm saying? Who am I to sit up here and gauge how another person handles their adversity and what they may be experiencing? It's not something that I'm qualified to do. So since the people in the chat was pretty much, checking me on mental health as a whole, I had to sit back and reflect on how I came off. You know what I'm saying? Did I seem insensitive about it? To the point of me doing this live and saying, you know what, the same thing and the people was trying to check me on, I need to ask those same questions. Even Stephen Fulton, he said it on a video, on a live, how he has to go through and deal with things. And it's not enough resources in boxing for them to just go to somebody when they have these issues. Like I said before, right? Boxers, combat sports, pugilists, period. In order for them to compete in the sport, it's not too many fighters that's on the elite level that don't spar people. You don't have different looks. You don't have individuals that's coming in and so quote unquote giving you work. Within the work that these fighters receive, they're taking damage and punishment. They have to take damage and punishment up to a certain day, a certain calendar. Then they stop taking damage. They have to be durable enough to get through the fight camp, go through the sparring, receive the damage regardless of headgear. Let's not act like headgear wasn't a problem in the Olympics. Let's not act like they wasn't sitting up here doing studies on headgear. You know what I'm saying? On, do you receive minimal damage or do you receive the same equal damage as if you don't have headgear on? And pretty much how that came about, they said that we were removing the headgear because we did studies and determined that having headgear on is just as much applicable to damage than no headgear. So that's when you're seeing the Olympics take the headgear off. But in sparring with bigger gloves, they still wear headgear. You have to go through that. Then you have to compete. You have to take damage while you're competing with smaller gloves. Then, depending on how you fared in the fight, you leave you exit the ropes, and then you have to recover. Depending on where you're at in your career, whether you're going to have a long turnaround or a short turnaround, you have to get right back in the fight camp. If you're on the lower tier, train, try to take as little damage as possible, get back in there and compete, and then go through the recovery process again. All that to say, it's a good possibility these fighters go through a sense of mental health, and it's not really perceived in its severity because all fans want to do is just look at them fight. I don't care about anything else you got going on out the ring. I just want to see you fight. I want to see you walk to the ring. I want to see you touch gloves and go in there and fight. Okay, toughen up, as they used to tell us in the Corps. Suck it up. Suck it up. You can do it. But see, in the Marine Corps, our physical training, some of it was hand to hand, but a lot of it was that we just had to physically be able to get through a training regime that required us to work as a team, a unit, and so forth. In boxing, there's no way that you have boxers that's competing on the highest level and you're not sparring anybody. You have to have someone in there to spar. We can all ask Anthony Yard, hey, at one point in time, he wasn't having sparring partners. And I guess they had to change that up after he take his first loss from Sergey Kovalov. I mean, I guess it's a different type of method to the training regime that you have to go through to get your body and your coordination right. You know what I'm saying? And your thought process. But who's to say Adrien don't have mental health going on? Who's to say that? We've heard Ryan Garcia and people just run to his aid and wish him all the best. We heard Tyson Fury. We hear all these other people. But just because Adrien Broner is in the spotlight, he's under the microscope. He's out there doing him. People act like, well, he just couldn't make the weight. Maybe so. What if he couldn't make the weight? What if he had mental health going on that he was distracted from doing everything? Because I seen the training videos of him out there. So it wasn't like he wasn't training, period. You think mental health cannot influence weight loss? Yeah, hell yeah, it can. You know, if you're feeling some type of way, you can even retain more water than usual. You know, if you're feeling some type of way mentally, psychologically rather, you know, you can that can curb your appetite. You can not have an appetite. You might not want too much to eat. You might not want to train, you know, and do 2 a days. Once you out of training, your body starts to decompress and wind down. You might not want to go back to the second session. You might want to just sit and relax and just ponder the thought. So who knows what Adrien is going through? But all I'm saying, I'm not sitting up here calling out my people on the YTC. I'm just saying for the ones who's being so critical, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what if he end up dead, right? All of a sudden he did some self-harm to himself. What is it going to be then? Oh, well, you live that life. You live your life, dog. You live your life on the edge. That's what it is. But then somebody else, they put themselves in a situation where they go through the same thing. They pass away and you say, man, mental health is real. We really need to do more to bring light, exposure to mental health, because so-and-so, I couldn't believe that they did what they did to themselves. I can't believe it. But a person like Adrien Broner, you say, well, he shouldn't have been drinking. He shouldn't have been partying. He shouldn't. Isn't that all a part of mental health? You have people that psychologically debilitated and they start to, you know, find things to comfort them like alcoholism, drugs, everything else. I'm not saying that's what Adrien's doing, of course. I'm just saying I'm generalizing it. That's all I'm doing. I'm just generalizing it. Some of y'all act like Stephen Warren, man, from the Django. Y'all act like Samuel L. Jackson, bro. Y'all be up here super angry every time a black athlete fuck up. Y'all super duper angry, man. Let me get to this super chat. Let me get to this chats over here. Appreciate everyone in the building, man. King Mitch on deck. What's good? Chomp's been saying AB had mental illness. Now the AB finally admits it and tries to get himself order. The same chumps claim to not believe him. Hey man, I'm totally on board with that, man. Like, why y'all giving this dude a hard time when he's already mentioned it? He's already been on record. I got a lot of shit going on. Okay, so you rather hear somebody say they got a lot of shit or have them say, well, I have mental illness. Okay, that's even more for us. Hey, AB unfit for boxing. Somebody should, all them people around him, they can't get him help. AB is unfit. IB, what's good, bro? W says, what up, OG? What's good with it? How you feeling, bro? Dion Washington, my gosh, what's good? He said Fury got a pass. Absolutely. Fury came back from a hiatus from boxing, from being a cheat, a drug, from a drug addiction. And they give him the full platform to tell his story. And this is what all the platforms are talking about. Tyson Fury admits the mental health. More boxers may be in the same position of Tyson Fury. How will we ever know? But it's good that Tyson Fury is speaking out about it. But AB do it. Well, stay out the club. Stay out the streets. You know what I'm saying? Stay away from the parties. Deion say Ron got a pass. Yeah. You know, look, the world is cruel. Let me tell you something that might rub people the wrong way, right? We do a lot of fucked up shit in our lifetime. What is physical stuff that you see play out, or internally the way we think? They say a sin, not just a physical act, but a sin can be an actual thought. Me, and my thought process when it comes to, you know, how people are so judgmental in life. They say judging somebody is supposed to be the ultimate sin. You're not supposed to judge anyone. But check this out. I remember when I told a group when I was in the service, I told them, I said, I don't think it's a hell. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's a hell. You know, I think that was pretty much folklore and created by man with the Bible, because for the light there has to be darkness, and it's okay for somebody to write and give you this picture, this scripted picture about the light in heaven, but also with the light you have to have a dark side to life too. And I told people, I said, I don't believe in that there's a hell, because I think we're living in it right now. But the perception on how people think the way they think, they see everything going on here on earth, right? They see everything that's going on. We have the mega churches. We have this. We have the missionaries. We have all these religions. We have all this stuff. But still we have mass shootings. We have pandemics. We have illnesses. We have natural disasters that kill hundreds, thousands. We have wars. We have all this stuff going on here on earth. I'm just going to leave it like that. But I can tell you, like I said before, when I had a near-death experience, I didn't see the devil with the horns. I seen the light. The light. They talk about the light. But people tell you, well, that don't mean anything, because in church, if you paid attention, they say, you know, God has to accept you into heaven. They'll tell you some people try to tell he has to allow you through those gates. But all I'm saying is, if people always talking about go to hell and all this other stuff, and hell is so bad, this, that, and the other, if you're a sinner and don't accept Christ as your personal savior, you're going to go straight to hell. But I'm telling you, I didn't see darkness. I saw light coming in. And really, you know, if somebody wouldn't have been there at the time and wake me up, I don't know what would have happened. But luckily, somebody was, you know, there to wake me up. I didn't see the darkness. I saw the light. But anyway, when it comes to AB, I'm looking at it like he sins just like all of us. I just don't see why he's being ridiculed to the harshest. I mean, I'm talking about to the harshest extent. Like, he ain't shit to life. The man got fucking kids, bro. Regardless of who I check on this motherfucker, who I retort, who I rebut, I always think about what they got in life. It ain't personal. If they got kids and them people don't think about the kids they got, I do. Because I look, I've witnessed, families being, kids growing up and shit, and their father going off into deployment and getting me being in communications, receiving the message. I'm receiving these messages, right, of people that I know that suffered a fatal, in combat. They was killed. And these are people that I knew more than one duty station. So I'm looking at, dang, we got somebody got to go over there and deliver the message and this, that, and the other. Now their kids are growing up without their daddy. And the wife is a widow now, this, that, and the other. It's a common theme in the military. So Adrien Broner has a family, not just the immediate family, but he has a family of fighters that's been around him forever. You know what I'm saying? Coach Stafford, Coach Levi, all them people up there, that knows him from Cincinnati as a kid when he was coming up through the AMs. And the wild part about it is that I have to hold myself accountable is that if I'm speaking on fighters that had put in all this longevity into the sport, all this history, right? From freaking 6, 7 years old, going up through the amateur, putting in all those fucking rounds. And then me at an older age, all the way seeing boxing through the military and shit, following boxing through the military, all the way up to now. Going to the amateurs, seeing these kids, they may have, they may fight just 3 rounds, right? But seeing these kids go in there and have to spar. These kids have to spar too. So they're taking damage in sparring at a young age, all the way up to professional. They have to go in there and compete. You have to say to yourself sooner or later, I don't know what the percentage is going to be, but somebody's going to start acting different. Like in the military, we go to combat and we come back, we're not the same. These fighters are combat specialists. So they have to go in there and train to compete, take the punishment, and guess what? You want them all to stay normal. They think they're normal until they have an outburst or they have an episode and people look at, oh, so-and-so crazy. This man crazy, dog. What's wrong with him? And they act like they act like they know so much about boxing, but they just forget the fact that they've been training as a kid. They've been training as a kid, bro. I just think we should, kind of take a little bit better look, and show a little bit more empathy if he says he is feeling the way he's feeling. That's all. Andrew Charles on deck, Trap Media on deck. What's good? They say Broner, ain't shit wrong with him. He running. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. They being very insensitive about him. You know what I'm saying? Dion say black fighters better start breaking bread with each other because these white and Latinos dictating your pace and value by ducking and dodging black fighters. And you make a solid point, Dion. I even mentioned this previously when I was comparing Jermell Charlo and Errol Spence situation. When we even heard, Mike Tyson mentioned it on Hot Boxing. You know what I'm saying? He even mentioned it. He said, you got to break bread with your brother. If that's your brother. Right? Mike Tyson told Mauro Charlo, you know what I'm saying? He was telling them, hey, this is what needs to happen. But that's neither here nor there when it comes to AB, because we can speculate all we want. I mean, he's a very entertaining fighter, but I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with his contractual situation and his money and all that. It's not for me to know. All I'm saying is nobody on this YouTube shit to cover boxing can say that they've been where Adrien Broner's been and their popularity holds equity just like he do. I've seen Adrien Broner without titles still walk in and people run up to him like he's holding belts, like he is the champion he is, like he's that dude. And they always want to talk to him. And, you know, AB will give you that smile at first. You know how AB is, you know, that's how he does, man. That's how he is. He gonna give you the attention or he's not. But I never seen him be an asshole. AB, like he'll turn and walk the other way and you know talk to somebody else if that's what he trying to do to avoid somebody, but never will he just, you know, saying, man, you know, I don't know who the fuck are you. I just think we should take a little closer look. It's nothing wrong with that, man. Trap say people speak on something that they haven't been through or close to. When it hits home, they will regret the hate they dissed out. True words, bro. I totally agree with that. Solid input from all y'all, man. You know, I mean, the last time we had a conversation on this, you know, I had to think about my words on how I was, you know, expressing. Maybe I was kind of taking it for granted a little bit with these fighters saying, okay, they have mental illness or mental health. And I'm looking at all the nonsense they've been doing, you know what I'm saying? And more so I was talking about Ryan Garcia. But even with Ryan Garcia, I'm like, this may have been overwhelming for him. He might have had some shit going on. Who am I to say otherwise? I'd be a hypocrite to sit up here and say that I can tell you what AB's done in his life now is catching up with him. I can't say that. You know how they say, you know, people be a part of their life so long that certain things that go on in their world and the way they've been walking through life, it doesn't affect them as much as if me and you, and we haven't been experiencing that life he's been in. We might go in there and we might not last as long as, you know, somebody like AB, because he's used to that life. He's been around it. Cincinnati is no joke. He's been around the adversity and all that, and he's been there. But somebody that may have not experienced that type of atmosphere over there where he's from, they may not survive. I'm not saying they may die. I'm saying they may have to get the fuck on and leave. Big Blunts Boxing say, yeah, I think even if AB wasn't going hard in the gym or having issues staying disciplined, it always goes back to what his frame of mind is like. Yep. They always say boxing mental, ain't it? So if boxing is mental, combat sports competing is mental, right? Then why are we digressing on the seriousness of when boxers come out like AB and say, man, I'm going through a lot. I'm going through a lot at this moment in my life. I'm going through a lot. The man has like 6 kids. Do you think his kids are not communicating? He don't see his kids. Like, do you think he's not connecting with his kids, bro? He's trying to train for a fight. Fight camp is hard for a lot of people. Hell, deployment was hard for me. I seen my family grow up and change every time I went on deployment. And it wasn't for the good. He has to be, you know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't even say because I haven't lived his life. But all I'm saying is what I'm seeing on YTC and in the media, like, man, y'all really taking this as if AB is BSing people. He just couldn't make weight, blah, blah. Most of y'all was saying, you know, he wasn't ready. Omar Figueroa was going to do what he had to do. We done heard and seen this before from AB. He ain't shit, this, that, and the other. But yeah, he come out and pull out the fight. Not a day before the fight. We still got a full week. And y'all excoriating the shit out of this man. It's not even funny. I ain't mad at Broner, but I've been calling out the hypocrites today who've been dragging guys like Tio Danny over mental health statements, but have pity levels set to maximize to maximum for AB. I didn't mention T.O. I understand what you're saying. It had nothing to do with your comment, Andrew. Well said. I didn't even mention T.O. because T.O. been going through some stuff for a while. But they didn't give T.O. a pass either. They didn't give him a pass. I'm just talking about some people who got passes. Tyson Fury of all people. He's going around and he's the biggest goofball around. People love, like, if I would have showed you who was over there in LA, Deontay Wilder, he wasn't interviewing at that time. It was Malik Scott. But at that present time, it wasn't hardly anybody over there where we was at. But if I would have took a picture of how many media lenses was over there with Tyson Fury, it was damn near the majority of the media in the room. They was over there with Tyson Fury because he would talk to everybody. I can't say the man don't have a personality, but I'm just saying when he said he had mental health, everybody just flocked. Let's go coddle Tyson Fury. See if he's okay. We just want to see if he's okay. Push through it, Tyson. But with Adrien, man, shit, man. Fuck that, man. What the fuck he talking about? He don't have no mental illness. You know what I'm saying? He just won a big fight. He just mad Floyd and him and Floyd ain't getting along, man. They give you a whole list of shit that AB is mad at. Mental illness won't be one of them, bro. They'll bring Floyd in there. They bring Al Heyman. They'll bring everything up in there as to why he don't feel, like he's appreciated. And, it has nothing to do with mental illness. It's just him, fucking up in life. That's what they would say. But I'm here to tell you, man, we really should start listening up to some of these fighters who really, they go through a lot, training and shit. And Adrien Broner has been on record, and they did replay this thousands upon thousands when he said, get out of here with that soft shit, that soft ass shit. Like, I can't tell you how many memes were created of what AB said to Leonard Ellaby. And that may be a reason why people are looking at him like, man, you said soft ass shit, but you can't handle what you put out. I'm telling you, I'm keeping the thou wow as much as I possibly can on how people may be looking at Broner right now. Like he said that shit to Leonard Ellaby. You know what I'm saying? He told Al Bernstein, you know what I'm saying? He pretty much, Al Bernstein was trying to continue the interview, and he said, no, it's gang. If I don't fucking with you, Kevin Cunningham ain't fucking with you either. People remember that shit, man. People remember what he did. Remember what he said about that soft ass shit. And now he's in a moment of vulnerability. People looking at him like, no, don't come with that soft ass shit, bro. And unfortunately, man, how do we decipher? How do we decipher what's going on? Should we just, jettison like it don't matter? Or should we like, you know what? He probably going through some shit in his life. And we should show some empathy, and we should then, support him enough so he can get back. That's all I'm saying. It's just too much criticism be going on in this boxing world. Like, a boxer can't do shit wrong, man. Time they do shit wrong, they ain't nothing no more to us. That's why they don't fuck with media, bro. It's hard for these fighters to go out here and perform. They get the championship belts only for somebody to say, they ain't fight nobody. You think that ain't nothing wrong with that? Shit, that's a lot going on with that. Like, that'll send somebody through a mental whirlwind of emotions, saying, damn, no matter what I do in this boxing game, it's still gonna be some criticism as to how I did it. I was successful at doing it, but it's how I did it. It's so many people that they don't really agree with it. They don't treat it as if it was something spectacular. They just want to say it's average because I ain't fight nobody that they know. I mean, it's a lot of shit going on in this sport, bro. AB, man, you got people out here to support you, big dog. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to his team and everything. Shout out to Mike Stafford, man, for always, picking up the phone, and chopping it up and everything. Legendary coach, even though he's underrated. I wouldn't say he's underrated. He's underappreciated. Who's the other guy who only sparred his dad or something like that? Navarrete beat his ass. I don't remember right now that, Andrew. Oh, Dog Bay? Well, hey, I can't even really go in the Dog Bay situation because he found out his alpha was Emmanuel Navarrete, and that was that. Mental health is real, and much like personal neurological punch tolerance, everybody's tolerance is unique to that person's. You mentioned a person's neurological punch tolerance. One thing we know about that, Andrew, is that there's a lot of punches up top. Your brain is right there, centrally located at the headquarters, on top of your shoulders. Just like it's been said plenty of times before, the brain is not there to be punched. But just so happen we're in a world where we have totally different sports that deal with full contact. You know what I'm saying? We have football players who's coming down with CTE and going through some stuff. We have, combat sports where you have striking, though it's gloves, padding, whatever the case may be, you still take punishment. You see fighters out here, they have pugilistica, turns into dementia, and they end up dying. That goes for, mixed martial artists, all that. We just had Rory McDonald retire. Rory, he probably lost a part of his life he'll never get back in his bout with Robbie Lawler. That was one of the most brutal matches that you'll see. You know what I'm saying? One of the most brutal matches, but that doesn't mean that just because you haven't seen AB in one of those blood fests wearing the crimson mask doesn't mean he don't have head issues. Because he's been fighting for a long fucking time, dog. I was talking to somebody today about this, right? And I saw this video on Punchback Skunk, right? And I feel that, it's reasonable for me to make this comparison. It doesn't so much have to do with mental health, but I'm just saying how severe boxing can be. So Teofimo Lopez was out there on the curve, and he was going through some different techniques with Tim Witherspoon. And Tim Witherspoon is 64 years old, right? Mitch Green is 65. Now, when people say Mitch Green, they always remember that, damn, Mitch Green was tough. He went in there with Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? They had wars inside the ring and fights outside the ring. Mitch was a head dog, whatever he was doing. I'm not bringing in his affiliation or nothing like that. But what I want you to know is Tim Witherspoon was competent enough to be able to go through these drills and critique Teofimo Lopez on what he was teaching him. And he was sharp. Boom, boom. It was snap, snap, snap. His words was clear. You know what I'm saying? His response was right there. Not so much with Mitch Green. Mitch Green is only a year older than Tim Witherspoon, if that. Mitch Green, totally different. Much slower. You can barely hear what he's saying. They was both boxers. So when we talk about the neurological punch tolerance and the physical anatomy, I think for sure, everybody is different. Mitch Green, you can barely hear what he was saying. I've seen it before. When I started interviewing fighters, I went through that process. I interviewed a fighter that's been in there with some top dogs, man. And I'm interviewing him. And I couldn't even put the interview up. And that taught me something. I said, there's no need for me to put this up because people are going to watch it for the wrong reason. And I really don't want anyone ripping it, clipping it, and posting it. You know what I'm saying? If I couldn't understand a lot of what the boxer was saying, then the audience is not going to understand it. And then they're going to feel empty. Oh my God. Why did he put that up? Then it's going to come back on me. Matter of fact, I probably have like 3 or 4 of those interviews that I can't put up. But the only thing I'm saying is, the punishment is real. The punishment is real. I ain't heard too much AB Ridiculed, to be honest, but I'm sure it's out there. A lot of tit for tat for the boxing community as far as this point is concerned. You'll be surprised, bro. Look, Andrew, it's so many channels out here that it's too many for people to follow. Like you will be amazed at how many channels are on YouTube, boxing channels. Like you will be simply amazed at how many people start a channel and start talking about boxing. Now they have a voice, and regardless of how many subscribers, they still able to share their content to Facebook. And a lot of these channels, I end up running to on Facebook, bro. They share their content on Facebook for groups who allow certain individuals to share their YouTube content or put the link in there on Facebook. What's going on, Dub? Right side in the building. What's good? Salute WCS in the chat. Lost Art of Boxing. Salute to you. Mark Nash was good. On deck. What up? Shout out to Tony Boswell on deck. Much respect at WCS in the chat. Stop in the show, support, and hit the like button. Just got off work. Salute. No doubt there, Tony. Always appreciative, man. One love to you. Be safe out there, man. Heading home for work. Get to the family, bro. Teach on deck. Shout out to my guy, Captain Chaos, man. On deck with it. Jermaine Taylor. Tony Ayala. Mike Tyson. Alexis Aguelo. Hector Camacho, etc. No doubt. No doubt, man. Especially Jermaine Taylor. I remember when Jermaine Taylor was going through his episodes, somewhat like AB. It was much more serious, though. Much more considered to be criminal. When he had the situation with his family and all that. But only thing we knew when he was winning, it was good. When he lost, people was like, oh, what's going on? And then when he started getting into trouble, getting arrested, people was like, oh, man, he just threw his life away. But you got to understand, his physical anatomy may have depreciated quicker than somebody else's. He might have had much more, mental problems going on than people knew, and he couldn't get help for it. Is it really a way with the insurance, right? Let's just say you have a fight and you're in a tough fight. You know what I'm saying? You're in a tough fight where you really had to dig deep. It doesn't even have to be a 12-round or 10-rounder. It can be one of those fights where they're just, the Mickey Ward and the Turo Gotti, right? But much more bloodier and damage, extensive damage and so forth. What is the resource that you can tell the promoter or whoever, well, I had headaches, I had some headaches and everything during the fight. And I'm not feeling right. You know what I'm saying? It was some things that was going on psychologically. I didn't have control over. They just erratic. Is there a place where a fighter can say, you know what? Is there any way I can set up some mental health sessions? After recovery, after a week, can I set up some mental health sessions for at least about 2 months or so? I think that's what Stephen Fulton, Cool Boy Steph, was talking about. Like, I don't think it's enough resources out there for these fighters to see a counselor or a psychologist. You know how they used to say, see a shrink or whatever. I don't know, man. You know, I don't know. You know, when T.O. said he was going through that stuff, I believed him, man. He had a lot going on in his life. He you know, didn't he talk about suicide? He had a lot going on in his life, man. People say, oh man, T.O. was just, you know, running his mouth talking shit and all that. Hey, it's always gonna be somebody out there to criticize you, always. Tony say, so AB pulled out. Yes, indeed, he pulled out. Sergey Lipin, yes, is replacing him. Sergey Lipin, yes, the former 140-pound WBA champion. I think he was WBA champion. You know what I'm saying? His first loss was to Mikey Garcia, I believe. D-Ray Promotions on deck. Salute at WCS. Salute to you. Majority of the boxing wars come from the gym, not under the big lights. I have to agree with that. You know, like, check this out. Lost Art of Boxing, right? And everybody else. Do you always hear about the sparring wars? I've seen the sparring wars. You know, I mean, you hear about the sparring wars. You remember when, you know, Errol Spence was getting the street credibility from the gym that, you know, he had fucked up some fighters and this, that. I mean, it's all around. They talk about sparring wars all the time, even with Tyson. Man, it's some wars to be going on in there, man. It's some wars that go on inside that ring when they in between fights. Is there any resources after it's all over? Do they just tell them, oh, I know you're feeling some type of way. Hey, it'll be okay. Go in there and sit in that bucket of ice, man. Submerge yourself. Let it all just hit and get that recovery. You know what I'm saying? Just let the cold take over. You'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? You have a tough sparring session, but I'm not feeling right. It'll be okay, son. We've been here before. You can't be acting like this. You either cut out for the job or you're not. Because if you start second guessing yourself and you're having all this, you're going to find yourself getting knocked out and your career is going to be over. I'm pretty sure some fighters had that conversation, bro. Mr. Pass on deck. WCF, speaking of Tim Witherspoon, he's going to be on Bruce's show tomorrow. All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Appreciate the info. Definitely going to check, you know, Bruce Gas boxing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the OG. Let's not forget Jerry Cooney. Yeah, man. One thing about Jerry Cooney, when I seen him in Vegas, man, you know, he's a funny guy, man. He didn't seem to have, like, from what I heard, any problems with slur of speech or anything like that when I seen him. But I was right there when he was shadow boxing, and he had some friends around. He was shadow boxing, having some fun with a suit on. And I'll say, this motherfucker still knock somebody out. Shit. And he's bigger than I thought. He's just a little bit taller than me. I said, all right. Yeah, Medrick Taylor. Another one. Medrick Taylor, man. He's another one. Never the same after that fight, man. Jesus Christ, man. Chavez. You can't blame Chavez, man. You can't blame him. That was just a crazy fight, man. Lives changed after that. You know what I'm saying? Yep, Sugar Ray Leonard. It's so many, you know, it's so many names out there. As you're naming the names, we can't name facilities if they really had a problem to talk about anything dealing with mental health. I don't see any facilities, or it might be an unspoken, you know, type of situation not to really put your info out there like that. Don't put the business out there like that. If you have mental health problems, man, we're trying to get sponsors. Don't put it out there. That, well, that's not totally true, because T.O. done told us everything about everything, and he's sponsored by Bud Light. So it's best for you to get help for yourself, man. I was really looking forward to see AB. I'm a fan. AB ain't never ducked the fade, and a lot of other fighters can't say the same. Hey, Tony, I always tell people one of my best fights I like is when he fought Marcus Maidana. He had a very poor training camp. And, you know, he was on social media and they showed him out there. He looked deconditioned. And just like Mike Stafford told me the other day, he said, losing weight is never easy. It's always a challenge to lose weight. You know what I'm saying? And it is. I've been there. I had to drop weight. I know what it's like to get down to very low body fat percentage. It's uncomfortable. When you see people, you know, with the six pack and everything like that, and they shit is just like they have saran wrap, and you can just see their abdominals and their obliques. It can be genetics. It can be a lot of shit. It can be a lot of shit the way they are. But weight loss, I mean, weight cutting is never easy, man. That shit is never easy. And for him to go in there the way he did and try to battle back, that was a damn good fight right there. Because, you know, you're talking about absolutely healthy Maidana had a good training camp, to Broner, who had a half training camp and came in there, faced adversity early with several knockdowns, and then to get up and make it to the final bell, man, he got bragging rights, though. Like, yeah, he took his first loss, but goddamn it, ain't nobody stopped Broner. Sean Porter couldn't stop him. He ended up getting dropped in the fight. Come on, man. Like, he's been in there with the who's who. You know what I'm saying? And I know people gonna criticize it, but people up here saying that Adrien Broner's 4 championships, his 4 divisions ain't shit. He ain't being in the Hall of Fame. And I'll tell them this. I say, if you think a fighter is not getting in the Hall of Fame because of, look, check this out. Because we're about to go through hypocrisy in 5 seconds. If you're thinking a fighter is not going to make it to the Hall of Fame due to how they were in life and how they acted and how their nightlife was, well, you might want to go all the way back to some of the greats who did it and was beating their wives, had domestic issues all the time, drug issues. That won't stop you, because the sport allow individuals that's been locked up in prison, incarcerated for all sorts of dang criminal, you know, activities, criminal charges. They allow them to come into the sport. So if you allow these individuals to come and compete in the sport and you're a criminal, how are you going to prevent them from making it to the hall? If they came in here and competed all them years and earned those accolades, and you're going to say, you know what? Come to think about it, you just was doing too much. That's not the case. You have plenty of people. Come on, let's know, man. Mike Tyson, he went through so much outside the ring. He even bit a man he bit both ears. One of the most gruesome fouls that you would ever see in the sport, right? He bit the man ear off, spit it out. And they look at this man as a god. Mike Tyson, he goes places, people want to take pictures with him. They're not thinking about him being incarcerated for rape. They're not thinking about all the interview he did with Robin Givens. They're not thinking about any of that. They're thinking about what he used to do inside the ring, how the menacing look he used to have when he had that towel around his neck, those black trunks, those black shoes, no socks. When he used to go in there, lateral movement, put that windshield wipe on your ass, hook to the body, uppercut. You know what I'm saying? Boxing ain't about morals and principles, dog. Y'all remember that when y'all dogging out AB. Y'all remember that. Because we're talking about a fighter that people are scared to say something negative about, that went to prison. Before that, he was a straight up menace on the street. You hear the story about Teddy Atlas pulling a gun on him. You know what I'm saying? Threatening his life. You hear about the fallout. You hear how, you know, what Mike Tyson used to be in the streets. He tell you. What did he say on when what's his name? The brother, Keenan. You heard what Keenan said. You know, he was trying to tell Mike Tyson, no, brother, I look at you as a king, man. He say, nigga, you can't tell me what I am. If I believe I'm a nigga, I'm a nigga. You can't tell me different. And Keenan stood his square, but I'm just saying how Mike Tyson think now. B-Hop was locked up. He came out being one of the greats. You think that prevented him from the hall? Man, come on, stop the madness, man. When y'all up here judging these fighters, remember the beginning. Remember the inception on some of these fighters that came to the sport. Remember, it's no prerequisites now. This is a sport where you can come to the turnstile, put in the work, pay the toll, and when you cross that bridge, you can. The sport does allow you to make money. It does allow you to be somebody special. It can allow you to make millions in this sport. But always remember, there's no prerequisites required. You don't have to have a certain amount of religion. You don't have to, be from a certain neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? They don't require you to have a high school education. There's a lot of fighters in here that dropped out of high school to start making money, and their parents agreed to it. You know what I'm saying? So you can't sit up here and act like all of a sudden you get somebody like Adrien Broner that's having problems, and now it's all about, he fucked it up himself. You know what type of life you had. You made more money than us. That's the point. We're forgetting where AB came from. You can never forget where these fighters come from. They always going to have a piece of where they came from to now. Even me. You always going to have a piece of that shit, bro. All the time, man. Shout out to my guy, Mr. Gumbo on deck. Salute that, Mr. Gumbo. If you're on the road, man, definitely be safe. You know what I'm saying? Be vigilant out there. Say salute at WCS, my brother, and the chat from Cincinnati. Yes, sir. TB, how much would you win? I said this before, but my last fight was so painful. Most difficult in my life. It was only my will that carried me through. I haven't fought since and plan to keep it that way. I don't know how old you are, what weight class you fight at, but obviously you got to a point where you say you had to make a command decision. You feel me? Like you had to make a command decision that this is it. And not even understanding, I don't know your format, your livelihood. But I'm pretty sure there's people that know you boxed. I'm pretty sure there might have been loved ones. It's like, hey, you looked a certain way in there. You good? That's how we talk, right? You good? You good? Those two words says a lot. If you ain't good, you're gonna be like, hey, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not feeling certain things ain't happening. Not pulling the trigger the way I used to. You know what I'm saying? My body's not reacting. My mechanics are down. You know what I'm saying? The headquarters are not sending the message quick enough. I see the punches. I see them, but I can't elude them. I can't slip in the way I used to. You know what I'm saying? All that's telling you it's time to hang it up. It's time to what? It's time to hang it up or get help. That's a whole nother story, getting help. Some people don't have health care. W says Greg Townsend, aka Punchback Skunk channel is great. Yeah, no doubt. You got some good content up there, man. You get to see some former fighters that other channels don't show in a different setting. No doubt about it. Shout out to Punchback Skunk, man. Definitely. That is true words right there. I saw the dinners that he had. I saw the one with T.O. over there. I think Roberto Duran was there. Mitch Green, the Blade, Iran Barkley, Tim Witherspoon. It was a lot of people. A lot of freaking, legends over there, man. Shout out to him for allowing those brothers to congregate. Because guess what, man, boxing is a lonely sport, bro. What if you was fighting on the championship level and you really wasn't a good enough fighter to make enough money to start up a business and everything for residual income, right? What if you just did enough, to make a little money and put it away, but nothing to retire? So when you actually found out that you could no longer compete with the top tier competition, you had to go back to what you know. If that's all you've been doing over and 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 over again, training, hand wraps, gloves, rounds, sparring, training, hitting the bag, mid drill, this, that, and the other, running pushing pavement, putting them miles in, and you go right back to the gym. Hey, so-and-so over there, he'll train over at the gym. Who? So-and-so. Why is he doing that? Man, he was world champion, man. Why is he there training? Why put yourself through that, man? Trainers don't get paid shit. They'll be talking like that. And look, they ain't wrong. It's just the way people look at it. Like, people tell me all the time, hey, man, this gym has so-and-so. Not every boxer makes a lot of money, and there's no retirement plan. It's tough, man. And I'll be honest. That time that we was talking about mental health with Ryan Garcia, and people was like, well, you should pretty much do this, and this, or think this way. Not so much on what I should think. I should be more considerate, so to speak. So it wasn't that I wasn't being inconsiderate. I was just looking at how I felt that Ryan Garcia was ducking. He was like capping a lot, and he's young enough to get away with the shit to include mental health. I may be totally off the mark, but I'm just saying that can cloud my judgment, and that can cloud others people's judgment. I'm just saying it's hard to prognose somebody without being biased. It's a lot of vets that has PTSD and a lot of other things they experience. Only thing they said, well, you signed up for it. Don't come over here with that shit. Man, it's not easy at all. It ain't, man. Hopefully you don't have no residual effect there, Andrew. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you can get that treatment, because, we can get on here and talk all the time, but real talk, y'all, healthcare is serious, bro. People talk shit all they want, man. People talk shit all they want. They can talk shit about the military all they want. But I've had operations, man. I've been to the doctor. I've never even had a sensation of anxiety on where I wanted to go to get help for my ailment. I have to thank God for that shit. Yeah, I went through a lot in the military, but I'm like, if I have to see a psychiatrist, I got it. If I had to get myself treated for all my ailments and chronic pain, I got it. Boxing, man, it's tough, bro. They don't got it. They don't got it. Unless you're making millions and you that dude, you paying for insurance, they don't got it, man. They copay is probably higher than mine. My copay like $4 or $5. It depends. Sometimes it's nothing. But I'm just thankful that healthcare is something that I'm attached to from my military service. And, boxing doesn't have that, bro. It's not like we don't have psychiatrists, but I don't see, even in MMA, I'm not saying they don't have it, but I just don't see where where's this facility at again? Who's going there? How many sessions are they allowed? Is it going to affect them? Is it going to be something that they have to put into to be able to get treatment? You know what I'm saying? Because look at it this way. Let's just say you felt a certain way in this fight and you were seeing different colors. And once you went home and recovered, you just felt like these flashes was coming. You weren't feeling like yourself. But you fought through it. You start to feel a little bit better, and you had another fight. And that fight, you're not feeling as good. You know what I'm saying? You took some more damage, and now you at a low point. Who pays for that? If you ask for that help, say if you go back to so and so, hey, I was feeling this way when I fought this person. Well, what are you telling me for? You already had another fight. I'm just telling you, it started in this particular fight right here. I'm feeling kind of bad. There's nothing I can do for you. You go to the next one. Hey, I'm feeling some type of way. Is there any way I can get some help? Well, how long you been feeling? Since my last fight. Well, why don't you go to them? I did, and they say it's nothing they could do because I already had a fight in between. I'm telling you, that scenario could possibly play out, bro. Shout out to Captain Chaos with the $4.99 super chat in the building. He said, damn, comeback. You really opened a dark door on this shit. We used to seeing mental health as an excuse. This shit ain't no joke. It's never been a joke, man. We just are people who God blessed us with the the mindset that we can be judgmental. You know what I'm saying? I look at it like this. It would have been great if God would have blessed us with mind reading. Now, I'm not talking about that ESP, which is great for some people who's blessed with it. I'm not talking about ESP. I'm talking about clear cut, 100% mind reading, knowing what someone is thinking. If you can actually know what someone's thinking, I think the world will be a better place, because you'll walk up on somebody and you have to get your mind straight. You have to get your mind straight before you go up there. If you feel some type of way about that person, you couldn't go up to these fighters and with a bad thought, and they say, no, hold up, man. I was reading your shit from 20 feet away. No, I'm not feeling this, man. You on some bullshit. No, it's not happening. I can't believe what you was thinking about me. I'm serious, man. What if we had that opportunity? That ability, rather, not opportunity, that ability. But shout out to Captain Chaos. Much appreciated, brother. Thank you. Tony said, much respect, Andrew Charles. A lot of folks ain't got what it takes to step in the ring. No doubt. Boxing is difficult. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you get your bell rung the first time, man. It's a whole nother place you in. We have the privilege of looking at this sport, a lot of us, and talking about it. W says male suicide numbers are really high, bro. Biggest killer for men between 18 and 40. If I'm not wrong, sad to see people with mental health issues, bro. It is, man. Like, real talk. Like I said, that one live that we had when I was up here dogging Ryan Garcia out for the mental health issues, which I still feel a little bit, but some things became illuminated a bit. You know what I'm saying? It was a bit more wattage to the bulb, and me thinking about what I wanted to say about that. Like, I still feel some type of way when remember when Tyson Fury came back with the mental health shit, but yet you was a cheater. That in itself deserves some type of criticism, because it's a part of that I don't like. But with AB, I feel like people are just looking at the way he was acting, because once again, we must understand that boxing doesn't have a prerequisite. It doesn't require a fighter to come up here with a clean record. It doesn't require you to be a part of anything. All races, nationalities, anybody compete in boxing. Man, anybody can come this and get to work. Anybody, bro. Like, you can come here in boxing from another country illegally, man, and be an undocumented and get the fighting, bro. You can get the paperwork done and become a boxer and be one of the best to ever do it. You ever read Stitch Duran? His name is Jacob Stitch Duran. You ever read his book From the Garden, from the Fields to the Garden? from the fields to the garden, bro. I interviewed him down in Florida, man. Read that book. Boxing doesn't have any prerequisites, people. So you liable to have some people that go through situations like AB, because they come over here, they have issues. They come through them turnstiles into the sport from all different areas, and you're gonna have people that was that way when they initially started lacing up, and now we're gonna blame them from coming from that lifestyle into a sport where they have no pre-examinations, none of that shit. You can fight. You want it. You're motivated. Let's do it. I think we got something here. How many times have you heard that? I think we got something here. If we can just keep them out of jail. I think we got something. I know fighters right now. Look. I can talk about this because I was a part of it, right? Even the fighter that I interviewed that was out of Ohio, y'all seen the interview. Check him out, Michael Evans. With the promoter, that's why I respect, Michael Stafford a lot, because he ain't a kid. He was, when last time he was out, he was in his 40s, and we was working with him to get back in the square. And I had the opportunity to cover the guy. I mean, he paid me money without me even asking. This is a guy that was for the streets, like real talk. He has multiple, and still was able to come out and try to make a living boxing. But unfortunately, it was too many people, and sometimes female, that are scoring so bad, when kids are involved and all this, and people be standing in the street that, I don't know, somehow, some way he just couldn't, somebody set him up or whatever the case may be. He had to go back to prison. But he was on a journey to make it back to the spotlight, because he was one of the baddest amateurs. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the baddest amateurs out there. But he fought some of your favorite names. He couldn't stay off the streets, man. He couldn't stay from getting in trouble. And when I talk to him, this is the guy who you can talk to, and he seems okay. But was he even mentally there? Like, was he mentally stable, knowing that if you fuck up again, you're getting locked up for a long time? And I remember him telling me that, he reconnected with Mike Stafford, who was training him back in the day. They had high hopes. And Michael was there to accommodate. I'm talking about Stafford was there to accommodate Michael, man. He was up there training with Devin Alexander at the time, who was training for a fight. He gave him, he welcomed back in. You think he ain't seen them kids up there in Ohio before come in and out that gym? Sure he has. But I thought at this point in time, him being 40, he had just fought over there in Tennessee. He was so happy to get back in the ring, start getting some rounds in. I seen him spar. Everybody was, talking how good he was, man. He was going to get back in track. And then he got arrested. And he ain't been free since. That was last year. But does he have mental illness going on from boxing? Does he pretty much have something that has been affecting him? Or people just say, just like AB, but they want to stay out in the streets, and that's what they like. That's what they used to. That's what they're accustomed to. I don't know, man. It just was wild, man. He was a very intelligent human being, but he just did street stuff, man. He came from the street, stayed in the street. Tony Barwood, salute, bro. Unfortunate situation I'm referring to was some street. Okay, I got you. Hey, WCS, off topic. But I never heard you talk about how you got into boxing. Did your family have fight parties back in the day when you were a kid? How did you get into boxing? Boxing was big down in Atlanta back then. Back then, you used to have places you can go as a kid and box. You used to come off the street and box. Down here in the city? Come on, man. Look, I had the opportunity to see freaking Pernell Whitaker, Holyfield, Biggs, Mark Breland, all of them in one spot. I was a kid, like I was young. I had the opportunity to see these cats, man, all in one setting. No camera, no internet back then, none of that shit, dog. You know, I just always took the boxing, being around it, seeing them. You know, I'm a southpaw. I remember I remember a boxer telling me, "Oh man, he a southpaw, okay." And then they was talking about the jab and shit like that. And then I just always stayed with boxing. My dad watched boxing. You know what I'm saying? His favorite fighter was Larry Holmes. It was different, dog. My dad didn't drink or smoke. So the way he was acting during a boxing match was pure off the strength of how he was as a person. You know what I'm saying? Uh, man, he loves Larry Holmes, man, for real. You know, he always just said that Ali, he got too many women. He got too many women. He can't stay with one woman. That's gonna affect him. I was like, man, hey, Ali is where you want to be, pops. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you did that, mom got them put them hands on you. That is why America needs to cover those who are left out. And even say, Mr. Pass, like nobody else in my family really, besides pops, nobody even knew I was into combat sports like that. Nobody. You know, it's wild. They didn't know I was into combat sports, and they didn't know I was into motorcycles the way I was. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know that. They only until they start seeing pictures and stuff like that. And me training over there in South Korea for a little bit and shit like that. I mean, it was wild, man. It was. I never really let them know anything because it wasn't a conversation that they have. You don't think to. People look at you like, huh? What are you talking about? When people's telling me, hey, your brother driving the car, man. I don't know if you know that. No, he ain't. He in elementary. Man, I'm telling you, some people saw your brother out at 2:30 in the morning, man. He's out there. They didn't want to listen, man. Because look, when it was time to go to school, I was right there to go to school. But I've been out all night. I don't know how I did that shit, man. I don't know how I did that. Crown 64 on deck. What's good? He said that's why America needs to cover those who are left out. It's just not that easy, brother. It's hard to just say cover. Do you remember when we was going through Obamacare? And what did the next president do? Erase it. Healthcare is everything. Just like the fight I was talking about that just went down with the $100 thing. You know, they was trying to say that Ty Edmonds should have took the $100, but it was much more than that because he's going in there against a fighter that's actually, you know, supposed to be on the same level as he is, right? It's supposed to be one of these like 50-50 fights, according to who you ask. But if you part ways with the original contract that you had from the promoter because they failed to produce the funds, now you place yourself in a bonding contract with Devin Haney, who's saying he will pay the money, $100, right? But look, a lot of these channels will keep on talking about $100. I heard Blue mention $100. It wasn't just for $100. The shit got canceled because they asked them, hey, how much you willing to take to make this fight? And they told them their price, and they said, no, that's okay. Along with the fact that they wanted the contract so they can have insurance on the fight. And they called the shit off. Fighters were getting paid $100, bro. But, you know, shout out to Team Edmonds for doing it the correct way, the administrative duties. You know what I'm saying? Having the paperwork signed, because I learned something too. And that wasn't a shot at Blue. I'm just saying, like, it wasn't just about the $100. It was them having insurance in case he walked in there against Lorenzo Simpson and got hurt, who's going to handle his medical care? It's not just a street hustle. Come on, bro. What are y'all talking about? Paperwork. Let me make a phone call. Let me find out what I done. This, that, and the other. His mother probably asked, like, if we go into a bonding contract with Devin Haney, what do we still have any type of what they call it? Do we have any type of I just use protection, from our previous contract as far as medical goes? No. They probably said no. That's totally off the plate. Nothing. If you go into a bonding contract and you take money on camera with him and without signing the contract, he goes in there and get hurt, you're SOL. You have to come out your pocket. So that's why I say, okay, give us a contract then. Nah, we ain't doing that. The fight's off. We ain't doing that. That's why I bring up my last fight. It took me well over a year before I shook off all the residual concussion effects. I can only imagine some of the stuff these pros got to deal with. For sure. I think I was gonna say I didn't know you fought, but you might have mentioned it before, for real. Hopefully you got health care. That's a tough. You just can't say, I'm not even gonna do you like that. You just can't say I hope somebody have health care. That's just too much, bro. Everybody don't have health care. And then if they do, some people, they can only go a certain amount of time a year and they have to wait. I don't know. I mean, some people have $200-$300 copays, bro. Come back. You got me so fucked up. You got me thinking how we all thought Sugar Ray Leonard was a saint. Boy, did he have demons. He did, man. You know what I'm saying? Sugar Ray Leonard's been on records about his drug use and all that. But look, once again, Sugar Ray Leonard doing what he's doing, but yet and still, you have a combination of what he's doing recreationally and how he's feeling as a fighter. I don't look at it as an excuse. I just look at it like, hey, it's certain areas that we don't know that he was experiencing. That's all. I mean, like it's outside my scope. I'm just speaking, generalizing the situation that even though you have fighters that box, everybody's physical composition isn't wired the same. Some of these cats get hit in, their neurological system is fragile. Some of these cats, they have quick recovery. You know what I'm saying? Like I say it all the time about Anthony Joshua, Amir Khan. You know what I'm saying? All these cats like Tito Trinidad, when they get punched in the face, the neurological system shuts down. Sometimes people are able to recover and get back up and keep on fighting. You know what I'm saying? Some people have it like that and some don't. Amir Khan would never have a chin. Okay? And respectfully, his neurological system, something is deficient about his neurological system. He can box, of course. He has fast hands, of course. But when he gets hit hard, or he get hit in the head, shut down. Shut the lights off. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it'll never go anywhere. Anthony Joshua would never go anywhere. That behind the scenes footage of Cash Offer was some raw shit. It was, man. It was for real. Adrien Broner, man, we wish you the best out there, big dog. Wish you the best out there. Get your recovery. And, shout out to the team and everybody over there in Cincy, man. And, I'm going to close out with this right here. I think I missed something. That is my freaking fault, bro. I think I missed something. Why am I not seeing that over here? Yeah, there you go. Shout out to Mr. Gumbo, man. Once again, one love to your brother always. You know what I'm saying? With a $10 super chat. Captain Chaos, you can't send a super chat and I don't. 13 times 3 equals 42. Man, I appreciate y'all sending those super chats for sure, dog. You know what I'm saying? Cause hey, it's somehow, some way we're gonna figure that shit out there, Mr. Gumbo. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna figure that out. We're gonna try to get that shit right, dog. Right now, we just gonna go with 13 times 3 equal 42. That's it. So what? You know what I'm saying? So what? God damn it. But look, I just want to close out with this, right? Be sure to look at that video with what just happened over there in Arizona. Look at how we're talking about the Adrien Broner situation, but yet I just told you about how a fighter can be at the top, but yet they still may be in a situation like this. Like Mickey Bay and Tevin Farmer was in a situation where they was gonna fight in Arizona with the promoter who was co-promoting with someone who wasn't sanctioned in Arizona, but they was in charge of the money. These are people who used to be at the top. We're talking about Mickey Bay being with Haney training and all that and being at the top, bro. He fought George Kambosos to a split decision. I like Mickey Bay, man. I like Tevin Farmer, man. They've been at the top of the heap. They've been at the top of the hill, bro. But yet they was there, the main event, in what will be considered a hole in the wall. And then it becomes a social media topic of discussion. I hope y'all learned something. Go check out the video. I hope y'all learned something, because the way it was being told out here that it was just $100. Devin was gonna take it. That's not cool, bro. That's not cool to just say it was gonna be $100 and he didn't want the fight. He need to take the bread. Oh my God, it's disgusting, bro. I ain't gonna lie, it really disgusting. It really upsets my stomach. Give you that pit feeling in your stomach, because we have people that's on the YTC that's acting like they care about boxers so much, but they don't care about the sport. Oh, he was gonna take care of $100. He's gonna take care of $100, but yet we're like, damn, it's much more to the business, the administrative part of the business. The fighter has to fight. You think he's just gonna go in there? What do you hear Ty say? Ty say at that point it was gonna be a street fight, because the promoter didn't come through with the contract. And if we go into another agreement with Devin, that voids out any type of liability that promoter had prior. They wasn't going to get paid their original purse, and they was paying fighters $100. So you pretty much saying that, oh, he should have took the bread. If somebody's up here willing to take punishment from a competitive fighter like Truck Simpson for $100 with their parents in the room now, come on, bro. How do we sit up here and digest that shit? That ain't cool at all, bro. And, a shout out to the entire dynamic. He said, I'm not stepping in the ring. They say, for me not to step in the ring. I'm not stepping in the ring. It wasn't just about no $100. It's about his mother pretty much saying, you know what? Let me make a motherfucking phone call. Let me ask about this insurance in case my son get hurt, because I'm not trying to have a Pritchard Cologne, a Jerry McLean, or Donna Stevenson type of situation. I'm not trying to have a Patrick Day or Maxim Delishev type of situation, Don Koo Kim situation, a Zapata situation. We're not trying to have that situation. So we need to know if we have health care at the end of the day. So in order for us to have some type of post-fight, contractual binding agreement, we need paperwork. We need a contract drafted up. We need to tell you how much we want, because how can it just be $100? And that was the other promoter that didn't come through. That's over with. That's done. They can set their price, and it has to be written in contract so it can be binding. Nah, fuck that, man. Fuck that. We ain't doing that. Y'all have to pay attention to, man, and get educated like I did. Like, I knew nothing about that shit. I didn't know if you jump into a binding agreement because promoter fail to produce. And then with that, it's just not, hey, we'll have cash before you walk in the ring. We have cash before you walk in the ring. Well, guess what? You have cash. You have to draft up the contract. Contract be approved by both parties. And within that contract, I'm pretty sure the team admins wanted insurance to take care of their fighter, which happened to be their son. So you listen to these videos, and they're talking about Devin was ready to just pay the $100. They trying to say Ty ducked. Ty's been in there with better competition. Look at the video, bro. That shit don't make no sense, bro. Y'all made a mistake. So what? Man, y'all hold it down, man. Y'all been absolutely a blessing. Appreciate you. I'm not sure how much longer. I got a funeral to attend from a loved one. But yeah. Man, y'all continue to respect, the sport. Say no to fake news. Keep on holding people accountable. And it's always going to be a fighter that's going through what AB is going through. Shout out to Team AB over there. Many blessings to you, bro. God bless you. Hope you get through it. And mental health is a real situation. And man, y'all hold it down. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports, man. I'm out.